It was a quiet evening when Jack decided to check the old attic. He had lived in the house for years but never ventured up there. As he climbed the creaky stairs, he noticed the attic door was ajar. He was sure he'd closed it. Inside, the air was thick with dust. He flicked on the light, but it flickered and dimmed. His heart raced as he saw an old, tattered rocking chair slowly moving back and forth. He froze. Then he heard a soft whisper from behind him, "I've been waiting for you." Spinning around, Jack saw a figure standing in the corner, its eyes wide and empty, staring directly at him. The door slammed shut, trapping him inside. Lied there alone in her flat, the silence around her oppressive. She sat on her sofa scrolling through her phone, hearing these softly audible creaking footsteps in the corridor outside. She froze momentarily, for there they were again. Right across from her this time, really. She was pumping like some frightened rabbit. Standing herself and walking to the front door, peeked to her peephole window. She came to nothing but darkness. Relieved, she turned to go back to the living room. But as she stepped forward, she froze in place. In the reflection of the hallway mirror, she saw a shadowy figure standing behind her. It smiled. Then the footsteps started again. Closer. Too close. It was a stormy night, and Mark received an odd call on his cell phone. The voice on the other side was indistinct, but it seemed to be Sarah, his wife. "Mark, help, he's here." The voice went silent, and then the line was dead. Panicked, he rushed home, his mind racing. As he entered the house, everything seemed normal, except for the flickering lights. "Sarah," he called out, but there was no answer. Suddenly, he heard the faint sound of someone crying upstairs. Mark rushed up, his heart pounding. He pushed open the bedroom door, only to find Sarah standing in the corner, smiling. Behind her, a figure in the shadows muttered, "I have been waiting for you." It was already late when Emma received a text from her mom. Asterisk, "I heard something in the attic. Could you check?" Asterisk, Emma frowned, confused. Her mom had passed away 2 weeks ago. Shaking, she grabbed a flashlight and climbed into the attic. The air was musty, and the floor creaked beneath her. As she scanned the room, she noticed a dusty old mirror she didn't remember seeing before. She moved forward. Her reflection smiled at her too. Emma was frozen by the beating heart as she mouthed through the lips. Asterisk, "I am not your mother." Asterisk, the mirror breaks. The whisper is coming from behind. Asterisk, "I have been waiting." It was late at night when Sarah was alone in her apartment. She heard some soft tapping on her bedroom window. She thought it was just a tree branch, so ignored it. But the tapping became louder, rhythmic, almost like someone knocking. Confused, she turned to leave, but then the tapping came again, this time from inside the room. Her heart stopped. Slowly, she turned around. A pale, twisted face stared back at her from the reflection in the window. It grinned, its eyes wide and dark. And then it whispered, "You should have looked closer." It was a cold winter night when Sarah stayed late at the office to finish some paperwork. The building was deserted, the lights flickering as she gathered her belongings. As she reached for her coat, she heard footsteps behind her. They were slow, deliberate, and she froze, thinking she was just imagining things. But the footsteps grew louder, closer. She turned around, but no one was there. Her heart was racing. As she turned back, she saw herself in the window. But it wasn't just her. A shadow stood behind her with a distorted face and hollow eyes, his mouth spreading into a grin. She turned and ran, but the door slammed shut, trapping her inside. The footsteps got closer. She heard the last word someone said. A whisper, cold and sharp. Asterisk / "You're not alone." Lena lingered at the office until she finished reports. The building was desolate, and the quietness seemed to push her. She packed her stuff and heard a faint rustle in the dark hallway. She assumed it was someone, so she ignored it. But then the rustling came closer, too close. She turned her head towards the door. No one was there. She stood frozen with the noise of her own breathing piercing in the stillness of the moment. Then, out of her back, she heard a cold whispering. "I am right behind you." She swiveled her back, nothing. But while she checked at the mirror she reflected in the glass, there was a shadow right behind her. Alona sat in her apartment alone, the patter of raindrops against the window. As she began to fall asleep, the phone started buzzing. Her mom's text read, "Are you alright?" Confused, Sophie responded with, "Asterisk, of course. Why?" Asterisk, her mom quickly responded. I heard footsteps in the hallway and your door is locked. Sophie's heart started racing. She knew her mom had been gone for a year. Suddenly, a soft knock echoed from her bedroom door. Sophie froze. Then a voice, low and familiar, whispered, Asterisk, let me in, sweetheart. Asterisk, her phone buzzed again. Asterisk, don't open it. I'm right outside. Asterisk,